Thursday night in Dallas, Seahawks playing for their playoff lives. The Cowboys trying to keep rolling. We'll talk about Seahawks Cowboys next on DJ Football. He is Daniel Jeremiah of the NFL Network. I'm Ryan Brown. This is DJ Football Seahawks Cowboys Thursday night on Amazon Prime. The show presented by MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on at MyBookie.ag. They will match your initial deposit 50% up to $1,000. That is free money for you. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag. Code next round. What is up, DJ? How are you?
I'm doing great, man. We got Thanksgiving in the rearview mirror. We got Christmas out the front window here, and it's a fun time. It's football, man. It's a great time of year.
It is, and it is time to start looking at the playoff picture, and it will perhaps come in focus one way or the other for Seattle on Thursday night. They are in right now as they try to stay ahead of Minnesota, who just lost on Monday night. But boy, they got their hands full as they take on the Cowboys.
Yeah, and you'd have to pull it up and double check me here, but I think the schedule as we go forward for the Seattle Seahawks is quite daunting. So they are on a short week, taking on a Cowboys team that is absolutely rolling right now. I think Pete Carroll, if you asked him, I'd say he's probably a little bit disappointed with the defense. They've got a lot of young pieces there. They have not been as consistent as he would have hoped on that side of the ball. And this is not a time to be, trying to find yourself defensively when you're going up against the Cowboys and Dak Prescott, who's been on fire for about 5 weeks now.
Daunting. The next 3 games are daunting. They're at the Cowboys. Now, first of all, they have just played the 49ers, a game they lost on Thanksgiving night. They're at the Cowboys, back-to-back Thursday night games. You get the 49ers again. You play them twice in 3 games. This time on the road. You just lost to them at home. And then if that weren't enough, you get to host the Philadelphia Eagles, the best team in the NFC. If they can survive that, I will say if they can survive that, they close with Titans, Steelers, Cardinals, not exactly a murderer's row down the stretch when they may need some wins to get in the playoffs.
Well, and you look at the playoff teams and you look at the schedules, the Rams actually have a pretty friendly schedule coming down the stretch, and the Rams swept the series with Seattle. So, I'm always careful to use the must-win, term. They need to win this game, and it is a big challenge, short week with the Dallas Cowboys, but there should be some desperation here from the Seahawks.
Yeah, Geno Smith has been a little bit banged up. In fact, he was banged up in that Rams game, came back in and led what could have been a game-winning drive, but they missed the field goal. And he's just had to fight through that. He's had to fight through that weird elbow injury that he's got. When he plays, he looks okay. But apparently during the week, it gets so bad that it is hampering, I guess, his ability to prepare.
Yeah, and Geno, we don't think of him as an athletic quarterback. He's a pure pocket quarterback. But even as a pure pocket quarterback, if you don't have your base with you, that's a problem. So that to me is shown up a little bit here, and they have a lot of things going for them personnel wise, Ryan. I just think so much of their team has been added in the last 2 years. And even if you throw Jamal Adams in there, on the defensive side of the ball, just kind of getting him going after missing a bunch of time. I just don't think all the pieces have fit yet. It hasn't clicked yet. And time is running out at the end of the year.
Yeah. You would have to say though, as a credit to that franchise, they have not played a lot of games over the last decade where they're really out of the playoff picture. I mean, that is a team that is always right around that playoff picture.
Yeah, and look, John Schneider's done nothing but win from where he came from and what he's done there in Seattle, his previous time there in Green Bay. And then Pete Carroll is, USC into the Seattle tenure. They just don't lose, and they're very competitive. One of the things I would say about them is defensively, I think people take effort for granted in the NFL. Hey, we're all professionals here. No, that's why Pete has cycled over these defenses, even though he's had great defenses. He's had a couple iterations of it, and they get young, and he knows young guys, fresh legs, they play really, really hard. And that's been kind of a hallmark for their program since he's been there.
We'll talk about the Cowboys side of this in just a moment. A reminder, DJ Football is presented by MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on. At MyBookie.ag, they will match that initial deposit at 50% up to $1,000. At MyBookie.ag when you use code next round. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag code next round. DJ's favorite sponsor is Manscaped.com. Don't forget that handyman, easy to travel with, gives you a great shave. It is a great gift idea this holiday season. the handyman from manscaped.com. They got a bunch of great products, though. That beard hedger, which helps you trim your beard. It's got a dial up and dial down guard, so you don't pop the guard off at an inopportune time. The weed whacker takes care of the nose hair and the ear hair. And then there's the lawnmower that takes care of the full body and the all-important undercarriage. You want to make sure that undercarriage is nice and clean. They take care of it at Manscaped. Boxer shorts, male body products, all at manscaped.com. And because you are watching DJ Football, you'll get 20% off your initial order. Code DJF20 gets you 20% off. Code DJF20 at manscaped.com to get 20% off. Here's the scores from the Cowboys' last 3 games. They're not playing good teams, but they're eviscerating them. 49-17 over their division rival, the New York Giants. 33-10 over Carolina, who just fired Frank Reich. 45-10 over Washington on Thanksgiving Day, who then subsequently fired Jack Del Rio, their defensive coordinator. They are just blowing teams out. Those are not good teams, but they are beating them the way a great team should beat a bad team.
Yeah, and the elements of a great team and a team that can do some damage in the postseason, we say it on here each and every week, which is excellent quarterback play and defensive line play. Like that's the formula. It's really, if you go to high school football, pee-wee football, it's the same. It's where football is right now. You got to be able to have a quarterback that can play at a very high level. And then when you get to the postseason, you're talking about being able to maintain a high level of play. Well, he's shown you he can do that. And then you got to be able to get after the passer, and they can do it both outside and inside. They have a deep, deep talented group. Ryan, I was thinking about the Cowboys this week. This game, you feel good about it. I feel good about it, at least with them in this contest. And you look at where this team's headed and what they've accomplished, how they've played defense. Deron Bland setting the record for pick sixes. We have 10 openings, which a lot of people are predicting when it comes to the offseason at head coaches. Is Dan Quinn not the number one target as somebody who's got head coaching experience and the job that he's done there?
Yeah, and I don't know that this matters at all, but he gets a lot of FaceTime in Cowboys games. He's always up there.
That's a great point.
I mean, hat backwards. Hat backwards, standing up, celebrating. And I mean, his unit has done a tremendous job. That's why he gets the FaceTime, because his team has played so well. But he does get a lot more FaceTime than most coordinators get.
Yeah, that's fair. But I mean, you take 6 interceptions back for touchdowns. You tend to cut away to the defensive coordinator for the reaction shot, and then you have the splash plays with Micah Parsons and all the other pieces that they have on that defense that have played really, really well. So, this Dallas Cowboy team, we can never say that they're hiding or there's a team that's not getting enough attention, because trust me, as somebody who works in a national network, we are required by law to talk about the Cowboys at the top of every single show, but. In the discussion of yes, but look, we'll talk about it later, but the Eagles and the Niners, we've been talking about this game all season long, that collision course that's finally going to take place. The Cowboys, for a Cowboys team, as much as they can lie in the weeds, it feels a little bit like they're lying in the weeds. It was the Lions, the upstart Lions. Here they come. Are they going to join this elite party? And then it's been all Eagles and Niners, and somehow you stand up and you look at it and go, who's playing better than them right now?
Yeah, because when you look at it in terms of playoff standings right now, these two teams actually are next to one another at 5 and 6. However, you got the Cowboys at 8 and 3. The only reason they're where they are is because the best team in football perhaps is in their division. Yeah. So they've got a nice little comfortable spot right here. I don't know that they can track down the Eagles. The Eagles don't do anything but win football games. It's going to be tough to track them down. But they're comfortably in the playoffs as well. So, it's just one of those weird spots you don't find yourself in an awful lot in the NFL, that you're probably good enough to lead most divisions. You just happen to be in the same division as the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, I also think they're probably better off being, kind of the hunters as opposed to the hunted. I mean, when they've been the favorite going into this tournament for the last 20 years, really, it has not gone well. So this is a good spot for them to be in, and they'll travel. Their team will travel. They got a veteran quarterback. Again, that defense will travel as well. So they're a dangerous team. We haven't been doing predictions in these videos, but I will be surprised if the Cowboys don't blow the doors off the Seahawks. So if that doesn't happen, I'm sure in the comments I'll get eviscerated. But this one, the circumstances of this game, it feels like this is a big Cowboy win.
I will give Dak Prescott credit. You talked about his level of play. I saw earlier this week where basically, to paraphrase his quote, I haven't done blank yet. I mean, he understands. I think he understands his spot as the Cowboys quarterback. The expectation is you contend for and perhaps win a Super Bowl, and he hasn't done that yet. I credit him for understanding that and not hiding from those expectations.
Yeah, no, and I'll tell you what, in his game specifically, what I've liked as of late, he's not force feeding the ball. I mean, you can go through
Yeah.
the box score and look at all the guys that caught passes last week. CeeDee Lamb, it'd be easy to funnel everything in his direction. They've really started spreading the ball around, and Pollard's done a nice job of popping some runs as well. So it's as great as Dak's playing, he's got a lot of help, and he's doing a nice job of tapping into it.
Here on DJ Football, we got breakdowns of 49ers at Eagles, also a divisional team there in that division, and Broncos at Texans. If you want to go find those at Disrupt the Media on YouTube, you can please give us a thumbs up. We appreciate that. And subscribe and set your alerts at Disrupt the Media. DJ Football is presented by MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on at MyBookie.ag. They match that initial deposit at 50% up to $1,000. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. Code next round for that deposit match. And also Manscaped.com. Code DJF20 at Manscaped.com for all their great products. Great idea for the gift-giving season at Manscaped.com. He is the NFL Network's Daniel Jeremiah, and this is DJ Football.